How many of you have been in a relationship? Do you remember what it felt like those first few weeks or months? Everyone knows it as a honeymoon stage. It's when you're completely infatuated with your partner. It feels as if nothing could go wrong. Perhaps some of you have been in an unhealthy relationship. It usually begins the same way. There's complete infatuation, you're love struck, and you're absolutely head over heels for your partner. So slowly, this feeling might start to dissipate and turn into something sour. If you've been in this situation, you're not alone. According to mentalhealth.net, over 10 million Americans are subjected to physical and psychological abuse from loved ones and people they trust every single year. Good morning, everyone. I'm Alejandra, and I was a part of this statistic. Today, I'll be sharing with you my experience of being in an abusive relationship and how I was able to overcome this stark obstacle. So my relationship started off completely normal, or what I assumed was normal at the time, since it was my first ever relationship. It began with love bombing, which according to Comm.net it's a manipulation technique used by narcissists that overwhelms their victims with constant contact, nonstop attention, and grand gestures very early in the relationship. In my case, he would text me 24/7 and expect replies no matter what I was doing. He would plan very elaborate dates. He would constantly compliment me to the point of making me feel uncomfortable. And after the third or fourth date, he said he loved me. As the relationship progressed, he stopped love bombing and instead turned to gaslighting. Gaslighting, according to Psychology Today, is a form of manipulation and psychological control. It's where victims are given false information and it leads them to question their own sanity, memories, and perception of reality. In my situation, it began very simply. At first, during arguments, he would question my memory by asking, "Are you sure that's how it happened? Are you sure that's what you said?" And later on, instead of questioning, he would tell me, "No, that's not how it happened." So this would make my head spin, and it would leave me in a really confused state, and it would really just leave me unable to defend myself. Lastly, he would use drugs to control me. As I slowly became addicted, I became more dependent on him. So the addiction wasn't only to drugs, but it was to him, since he was the one that provided them to me. When he used all these three techniques, he had complete control over me. So there's reasons why I couldn't leave, as well as other people in similar situations have a hard time leaving abusive relationships. Firstly, he distanced me from my family and friends, and this left me with no one to turn to for help. I felt alone. My self-esteem was also very low. And finally, love. Although he put me through so much, he would scream at me, he abused me psychologically, physically, and sexually, I still felt such an intense love for him that in my mind, I couldn't live without him. I couldn't leave the relationship. So in our last fight, he very bluntly accused me of being the reason why our relationship was the way it was, why it was so negative. And in that moment, something in my head just clicked. And that's when I decided that after 3 years, I was done with his abuse. In that moment, I ended the call and I blocked him on everything. I blocked his number, all types of social media, so that he would have no way to contact me. Then I turned to my family and I asked for help, as well as finding a therapist, a substance abuse therapist, who's still helping me to this day to process everything that I went through in that relationship. And thankfully, because of this decision I made, I'll be 1 year sober next week. So if you take anything away from my speech, please let it be that no matter how difficult a situation you may be going through, there's always something to learn from it, and in it, an opportunity for growth. If you or anyone you know is experiencing domestic abuse, you can visit the website that I'll link in the chat to talk or chat with someone that can help. And finally, I'll leave you with a quote by Kushi Kabra. Keep in mind that letting go isn't the end of the world. It's the beginning of a new life. Thank you.
Bravo.